Hi, beautiful teachers. For those of you that don't know me yet, my name is Nicola Canton, and I'm a piano teacher in Dublin, Ireland, and I blog about piano teaching and all things to do with music at colourfulkeys.ie. That's where most of you probably know me from. And I'm also the author of the book called The Piano Practice Physician's Handbook, which you can find at pianophysician.com or in all your favorite bookstores. Today, I wanted to talk to you about summer practice because we all know that students can come to us for 9 or 10 months of the year and then it all goes out the window over the summer, right? It's such a pain. They come back to us in September or end of August or whenever you restart, and it feels like they never even took piano lessons. Maybe they haven't touched the instrument literally all summer. Oh, yikes. So if you're watching right now and you've experienced this before, please leave a comment just to let me know, yeah, I know what you're talking about. This has happened to me. This is so frustrating. Whatever it is you feel about it, let me know how this has happened to you in the past and if you have any ideas that you've used to stop this happening. I'm going to be sharing with you today 4 different ways that you can stop this summer regression, this summer backslide, some teachers call it, from happening. So the number 1 way is fun and intrigue. So what do I mean by that? Well, I'm talking about doing something different. You can't just do the same old in the summer and expect kids to be excited when the alternative is not school or school homework, but it's playing outside with friends and going to soccer practice and just having fun, having water fights. Wherever you are in the world, it may be different, but there's all sorts of fun stuff going on in the summer. And if piano practice is seen as the boring option, then it's not going to happen. That's the truth of it. So some different ways you can create fun and intrigue. I'd love to see your suggestions for these in the comments. Please write below with what ways you make summer lessons fun and different. Number 1 is doing different things like improvising and composing and creative skills. If I have students during the summer, I make sure to put an extra emphasis on this. And I also encourage this with their home assignments, even if they're not in lessons over the summer. This is a great way to make things a little bit different, especially if you don't do this during the year. But even if you do, you can go way more in depth when you don't have method books or exams or whatever else, concerts hanging over your head. So try out some composing projects. You can find some on my website. Or you could spend the whole summer off the page. Why don't you encourage them not to touch a book this summer, but to just open up the piano and play whatever they like. Just mess around. At least they'll still be at the keys. They'll still be being familiar and open to sounds and hearing music that they're making themselves. That'll make a huge difference when it comes to September. What about pop songs? I know not all teachers like teaching pop, but summer is a great time to do this. It's a great time to show your students that you're open to the music that they really like. And you have this bonus time, or they do at home, to learn the pop songs when there isn't the other pressures going on. You want to find little ways to make summer practice different from regular, boring piano practice that happens during the year. That's one of the ways that you can help your students to keep practicing during the summer without feeling like it's a chore. If you're enjoying this video, please do share it with your friends. I'd love to see more piano teachers and what they think about these summer practice ideas. The next one I have for you is creating goals. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm thinking about, in particular, say Sarah Campbell, on her music blog, she shares this goal setting sheet, which is awesome. It's about helping students to set goals for themselves. So it's not all about us putting on them what we want them to do. It's about them setting their own goals. And what I'm proposing here, and what I'm going to start doing next week, just before we finish up for the summer, is having students do this early. Normally I would only think of doing this in September, right? But then I thought, what if I do it now? And then they have it in their mind that this is where I'm heading. If I don't practice all summer, if I don't come back to piano lessons, if I don't do anything, I'm not going to get there. I'm not going to get to learn for at least next year. I'm not going to get to my grade 5 piano exam, or I'm not going to get to play that cool arrangement of Justin Bieber. Whatever it is that they want to do, make sure they are aware of their own goals and that they set them in a concrete way. I think this is a great exercise to do anytime, but particularly in advance of a long break. It keeps that momentum up, and it's also going to help with re-enrollment rates, right? Which is so important. We need our students to come back. We don't want them to forget what they're trying to do in piano. The next one I have for you is really fun. It is creative incentives. Do any of you use incentives during the summer? Special summer incentives? These could be anything from charts to rewards for certain amounts of practice, or piano maestro rewards maybe. You could have all sorts of different incentives. One of the really cool ones that I love is from Jennifer Fox of fbsresources.com. She gets her students to have like a project for the summer. Now this could be anything. So let's say her student wants to build a huge Lego Star Wars ship. I don't know anything about Star Wars, but let's say they want to build a huge Star Wars spaceship out of Lego. For every tiny bit of their goal they accomplish, they get to add 1 brick to that. Or let's say they want to paint a picture of a rose. I don't know. They could add a petal for every single one of their steps along the way. I love this because it brings together art and music and creates these concrete steps along the way to have better practice habits over the summer. And it's something really fun and really different. Now, last year, I shared my own summer incentive on the blog. It was called the Summer Quest, and teachers had a lot of fun with it. I had teachers creating their own versions of this, and I think what teachers really loved about this is that it's a little bit flexible. It's not like a super strict incentive with a definite finish points and all these fiddly bits to it. It's very simple, and you can just send students off. So if they're not taking any lessons in the summer, this will still work. If they take lessons all summer, it'll work too. So it gives them a fun and intriguing and different list of things to do. So this year, I've created a new one. I'd love to know in the comments, by the way, if you used this last year, because I always like to hear back from teachers that had fun with these printables that I share. So my way of keeping the practice going this summer is this. You can see it. Yeah, so that's my new summer quest. Now, you'll see down the bottom here, I've started coloring it in just for fun. So students are going to color in a square on the path for every one of their tasks they do until they get all the way to the castle. Now, you can totally change the rules on this. So if you find that there's way too many squares for you, have them color in 2. I don't think that'll be a problem at all. But what do they do to color in the squares, right? Well, that's what this list is for. So you'll see all these fun and interesting ways that they can practice on the list. There's things like learn a new piece that you didn't work on in lessons yet. That's very standard. Play 5 of your favorite pieces that you learned this year. So that's a little bit different. Listen to or watch 5 pieces by Chopin. Practice naming notes using flashcards. Teach a grown-up one of your pieces. So there's all these different and interesting ways that they can practice that aren't, practice 5 days a week for 10 minutes every day. Because 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I don't know. Whatever it is your students currently do, They need to do something different in the summer, like we talked about in the first point, fun and intrigue, right? So that's why this creative incentive is all about different ways to practice and using composing and all sorts of different stuff like that. So I hope that you'll have fun with this. What I'm going to ask my parents to do, my piano parents to do, is I'm going to ask them to stick it up on the fridge. Why? Because that way they're going to see it. So I want them to get it immediately. They're getting it this week with their re-enrollment forms. And once they get it, it needs to go straight onto that fridge. Do not pass go. Do not collect £200. It goes straight to the fridge. And if they put it up there straight away, then it's going to be staring them in the face, right? So how are they going to forget to practice all summer? Forget to practice all summer if this thing is looking at them on the fridge. And that way they can track their progress, and it's a fun thing that they can kind of do as a family. Oh, Kim says, I love the practice sheet. I'll be using this summer. I'm so glad to hear that, Kim. Yes, it's really fun. I'm really excited about this one, even more than last year's, I think. Although if you want something different, check out the summer quest from last year, because that was really cool too. But this is a new list, and it's going to be really, really good for keeping that practice going. And like I say, stick it on the fridge. That's my advice. Stick it up somewhere noticeable. I just choose the fridge because that's where all the artwork goes, and you want it to be part of the kids' artwork that goes up on the fridge, which is perfect. It's going to keep everything going. Okay, I have one more tip to share with you, and it's a good one. So if you haven't shared this already, please do share this with other teachers so that they can find out about these great tips. You can also share it, of course, when the broadcast is finished and it's uploaded. Right. Emphasize the investment is my last tip. And this one is a little bit different to the others. So, to the kids, no, that's not what I'm talking about here. Investment is a big word for a 7-year-old. I'm talking about to our parents. And the investment I'm talking about is not just the money, but the time. I think it's really easy for parents to see this as a wonderful break from that routine of putting in all that time, getting their student, getting their child to the piano 5 days a week, 6 days a week, whatever they're supposed to do. And maybe they do a great job of it. And this is their relief, right? And I totally get that. I understand why they feel that way. Because wouldn't you? You're being so good all year. You're getting your child to the piano every day for the entire school terms, and you just want to break yourself, maybe, and maybe your child needs a break too. That's what you might feel. I think it's a break. But what they're not seeing is that it's not a break like a pause button. It's a break like a step way backwards. Because if they stop completely all summer, they're going to lose progress. They're not just going to stall at that point. They're going to lose some of it. And that's such a shame. But we need them to see it that way. So that's why I'm emphasizing the investment. In my newsletter, I've talked about the amount of time and energy that they've put into piano all year, and how practicing even a little bit, even just attending a few workshops and doing bits of practice here and there is protection for their investment. That's the way I want them to see it. Because that's what it is. I'm not expecting progress during the summer. Sorry to say it, but I think that's kind of pie in the sky thinking. I don't think that's going to happen if the student isn't in lessons, right? They're not necessarily going to move anywhere forward. But what we don't want is them moving backwards. And if we can emphasize this to parents and get them on board, it's so much more likely to happen, because really it's all on them. Stuff like this, kids aren't going to remember during the summer. You know, they're not going to be the ones to put it up on the fridge, to put their summer quest up. They're not going to be the ones to follow up on it or to remember it when they come back from their summer vacations or holidays. That's going to be the parent. So I have it in my newsletter. I'm just going to show you. This is my newsletter that I send out every year. And I have a whole article. I do a few different articles. I always do one which is some kind of thing for parents. And this one is avoiding the summer backslide. So I say there's a huge difference between students who come back in September after not touching a piano at all for 2 months and those who have at least checked in here and there throughout the summer. So I aimed, it goes on like that, but I aimed to be not like judgy, like, oh, you must practice during the summer. What are you doing? You're not being a good parent. Like, that's not fair and it's not warranted at all. What we did want to emphasize is that just a little bit could go a huge way. You know, if they did those 20 tasks on the list in the 2 months, you know, that's only a few little bits of practice here and there, but it would make a massive difference to how they come back to us in September or whenever they're coming back to you in your part of the world. So those are my 4 top tips for keeping the piano practice going during the summer. I'm going to run through them again for you. First one was fun and intrigue. Make it different. Do something interesting for your students. Don't just do the same old that you've been doing during the year and expect 5 days of practice, 30 minutes a day. Try to do something different. Change it up. Second one is create goals. You can use a sheet like the one Sarah Campbell has on her blog and get your students to create their goals before they leave your studio for the whole summer. Get them to create the goals now, and they'll have them in their head, and they can show them to their parent, like, this is what I'm going to do next year. It gets them excited about next year and excited to keep going with piano, and that's what we want. Next one is creative incentives. So you have one idea, which is FPS Resources, Jennifer Fox's idea of building something or making something or having this summer project that goes with their practice and they're tied together. Or you have the Summer Quest with all the interesting ideas on that list that they can use to fill in those that path on the way to the castle. Give the castle a fun name too, like the Magical Kingdom of Piano or something. And the last one, emphasize the investment to the parents. Point out how they've put all this time and energy and money. Maybe don't point out the money, but it's kind of implied. Put all this time and energy into getting their child up to this level in piano. And they don't want to waste September and October with redoing all this stuff that's just been backsliding all summer. So emphasize the investment to your piano parents, whether it's in the end of your email, in the newsletter, both, all of them, and start mentioning all of this stuff to the parents to get them on board with summer practice. I really hope you enjoyed these 4 top tips for avoiding the summer backslide. That Summer Quest printable is going to be shared on the blog tomorrow, so watch this group and watch the regular Facebook page. You're sure to see it. Or hop on over to colourfulkeys.ie tomorrow to grab that and get your students practicing all summer and avoid that headache that you get every September when they come back not having touched the piano at all. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm going to hop out now. Lisa says thank you. You're so welcome, Lisa. It's been wonderful to chat to all of you. And Kim says thank you as well. Thanks so much, Kim, for being here. I'm going to hop out now because it is a rare, super rare in Ireland, brilliantly sunny day. Like there's not a cloud in the sky and it's Saturday and I'm finished teaching for the day. So I'm going to hop out now and enjoy the sunshine. I hope you all have a wonderful Saturday and make sure you share your Saturday successes in the Vibrant Music Studio Teachers group, because I love seeing what people have been doing during the week that they're super proud of. It's always awesome to read that. Okay, enjoy your weekend. Chat to you soon.